I broke down crying. All I kept thinking was, do babies survive at 27 weeks?
When I see those pictures, it kind of takes you back to that. And that's the hard part, is just you stand there and you feel helpless.
I went out to do some last minute shopping for some Christmas baking. I felt this wet sensation and I didn't really know what was going on because it wasn't like where I thought your water would break and you would know. I got to Connell 5 and they took me into a room right away, and she had a look at me, and all of a sudden I felt this burst. She looked at me and she said, "You might want to bring your family in here, something's happened." And I'm just like, all these thoughts are going through my head, and I just start crying because, you know, at that point I was 26 weeks and 6 days, and I'm like, this can't be. She had said the membrane between the two sacs had broke, but they were going to give me something to try and postpone the girls from coming. Later in the night, I finally started to feel some contractions. Basically, I think I don't know if I was 10 centimeters at that point or close to it, and they said, you know, let's do a practice push. And it was just the nurse that was in there. She said, okay, you know, upon your next contraction, let's do a push. So I did, and she was like, oh no, these babies are coming. A team came in, and I know it was kind of a blur for me, but I'm assuming it was only a couple pushes, and then Cayden was out. So that was at 6:35 p.m. and she weighed 1 pound 8 ounces. And then 5 minutes later, Callie was born. So 6:40 p.m., weighing 2 pounds 1 ounce.
I can still remember to this day them being wheeled out of the room, and then they brought them back in just quickly for us to see them before they took them to the NICU. And it's literally like the team of 5 or 6 with a mask over their face, and you just feel so helpless.
Those pretty eyes from Mama.
When I think back to the NICU, I think you go in there, you know, you wash your hands before you go in, and you walk in and it's quiet, and you know, you kind of greet some of the nurses, and I just remember leaning on the incubators and staring at them. And they're moving very little. You know, there's these babies, tiny little babies with CPAP machines on their face, you know, and wires coming off them, and they don't do a whole lot. And, you know, just that's kind of my perception of the NICU, is there's just a lot of waiting around and a lot of unknowns. She held Cayden for the first time. It was, I think, day 3 or something like that, and you know, they brought her out with the CPAP machine on and all, you know, they get all the tubes and the wires out, and I think that was the first time like I realized how much power came from like the human touch, because she kind of was against Steph's chest, and you could just see her kind of like, you know, kind of trying to lift her head, and like she was actually grabbing at Steph. You could tell like she knew that heartbeat. And so I think that was the first time that I actually realized like it's important for us to hold them and touch them as much as possible. Fingers, 20 toes, little lives that will grow. If you were to ask me, would I rather, now having experienced it, would I rather, have a full-term baby, go home the next day, or spend 4 months in the NICU? I would take the NICU every day of the week.
All that NICU stuff seems like a distant memory now. It's like when you say 7 months we've been home, it feels like it's been way longer than that.
I would do it over and over again, even with the roller coaster, because I kind of feel like you've sort of seen the worst of their life. There's nothing they can do now that will shock you, right? So I would not change a thing, that's for sure.